All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're jumping behind the wheel to tackle a huge milestone for any driver in Japan, your very first trip on the highway. And look, it's way more than just putting your foot down. It's about understanding a whole new set of rules and finding a different kind of focus. So let's hit the road.
So, picture this. You've got your license, keys in hand, and you're staring at that on-ramp. It's a pretty exciting moment, right? But it also makes you think, are you really ready for what's next? Because mastering the highway isn't just about passing your test, it's about making it home safely every single time.
The second you leave those familiar local roads, you're basically entering a whole different world. The highway challenge officially begins, and you gotta know, the rules of the game have completely changed.
So what makes highways so different? Well, they're built for one reason, to get you from A to B as fast and efficiently as possible. But that speed and efficiency, it comes with a catch. It demands that every single driver out there acts predictably. Your safety and the safety of everyone around you really depends on you knowing these fundamental rules before your tires even touch that highway asphalt.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning of the journey, that super critical moment where you have to join that fast-moving traffic. Getting this one part right really sets the tone for your entire drive.
Merging safely really just comes down to 3 key steps, and honestly, that first one is the most important. You need to think of that acceleration lane as your own personal runway. Its whole purpose is for you to use the entire length to get your speed up to match the cars already on the highway. Seriously, merging too slow is one of the absolute most dangerous mistakes you can make. Once you've matched their speed, finding a gap and just sliding in becomes, a really smooth and simple maneuver.
Okay, so you did it. You merged successfully and you're now in the flow of traffic. Awesome. Now comes the next challenge. Knowing your place. Because out here on the highway, mastering the lanes is absolutely everything.
Before we even get into which lane you should be in, we have to talk about speed. We all know about the maximum speed limits, right? But on a lot of highways, there's also a minimum speed. Driving too slow, say under 50 kilometers per hour where it's posted, can be just as dangerous as speeding. It makes other cars slam on their brakes and swerve around you, and that creates a really dangerous ripple effect down the whole highway.
And that brings us to the most fundamental rule of the road here. The main driving lane, the Soko Shasen, that's your home base. That's where you should be for the vast majority of your trip. The lane over on the right, that's the overtaking lane, the Oikoshi Shasen. You have to think of it as just a temporary tool, something you use for one thing and one thing only, to pass a slower vehicle.
And this is so important to get right. The overtaking lane is not the fast lane. It's not a place to just hang out because you feel like you're driving faster than everyone else. The rule is simple and it's absolute. You make your pass, and as soon as it's safe to do so, you signal and you get back into the driving lane. Just camping out in the overtaking lane blocks up traffic, it frustrates other drivers, and those are the exact conditions that cause accidents.
But look, even if you do everything right and you follow all the rules, things can still go wrong. A perfectly smooth drive can turn into an emergency in just a split second. So, knowing how to handle those situations is just as vital as knowing the regular rules of the road. It's the scenario none of us want to even think about. You hear weird noise, the car starts to sputter, and suddenly you're losing power on a super busy highway. Let's say you manage to pull over to the shoulder. Now what? What is the single most important thing you do in that next moment?
The answer to that question could literally save your life. Do not stay in the car. I know it might feel like the safest shelter, but a stopped car on a highway shoulder is a sitting duck. The correct and safe thing to do is to get everyone out of the car, on the side away from traffic, of course, and move to a safe spot far away from the road. The best place is behind a guardrail. Then, once you're safe, you make the call for help.
And beyond breakdowns, there are some things that are just completely forbidden on a highway, simply because they are unbelievably dangerous. You can never, ever, under any circumstances, make a U-turn or try to reverse. If you miss your exit, you just have to keep going to the next one. And stopping, that's only for designated service areas. And the shoulder, that is not a lane. Even if you're in a total gridlock traffic jam, that shoulder has to stay clear for emergency vehicles, no exceptions.
Now there's one more danger we have to talk about, and this one comes from inside the car: fatigue. I mean, the long, straight, monotonous driving you do on a highway can be almost hypnotic. It can totally lull you into a false sense of security. But the road demands your full, 100% concentration, all the time.
And listen, this isn't just a friendly piece of advice. This is as crucial as any speed limit. The second your eyes start feeling heavy or you notice your attention starting to drift, you must pull over at the next service or parking area. Trying to fight off sleep when you're behind the wheel of a car, that's a gamble you are absolutely guaranteed to lose eventually. Taking a break isn't a sign of weakness. It's what smart, responsible drivers do to stay alive.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, right? From merging onto the highway all the way to handling a breakdown. So let's just boil all of this down into a final, simple checklist that you can keep in your head every time you hit the road.
These are really the 5 pillars of safe highway driving. Use that acceleration lane for what it's for. Live in the driving lane. Just visit the overtaking lane. If you break down, get out and get to safety. Never, ever do those forbidden moves. And last but not least, respect your own body's limits and pull over when you're tired. If you can master these 5 things, you'll be ready for just about anything.
And so, here we are right back where we started, with you about to take that very first trip. The knowledge you need for the test is one thing, but actually applying it out there on the open road, well, that's what really matters. So before you turn that key, ask yourself, out of everything we just talked about, what's the one rule that you're going to carry with you on this journey and every journey after? Drive safely out there,